I'll just toss it right over to you for Friday Fuzz.
All right, thank you. In studio with me this morning is Deputy Police Chief, Bill Wolf, and also Commander Anna Lalley.
Good morning,
guys. Thank you.
Welcome.
Hello.
Good morning.
Happy Halloween.
Guys.
Happy Halloween.
Speaking of Halloween, we'll get into that in just a minute, but did want to just touch real quick. I always like to kind of lead with the bad, right, and get into some of the better stuff that we have going on.
Right.
But third Elgin murder happened, and I guess originally, right, it was a fight, a stabbing occurred, and person taken to the hospital. It was considered immediately life-threatening, and he did pass away. And this was 21-year-old Anthony Munoz passed away of Elgin, and arrested was an 18-year-old boy, William Donald, from Elgin. I guess an 18-year-old man, at that point, right?
Yes.
So,
under state law, when you're 18 now, you're treated as any other adult.
Okay, so 18 is like the hard.
Yes.
You can, if you're younger, be charged as well, right? But depending on circumstances. But
exactly. I mean, and for many years, probably the majority of Commander Lalley and I's career, it used to be 17, and then it slowly transitioned to now 18 is the hard cutoff, and that's similar to most states. Most states it is 18, and Illinois is now similar to the rest of the country.
Can you tell us a little? Is there anything unusual about the case? I mean, it sounds, from the release that it was a prearranged fight. First thing I thought when I read between it, I was like, I wonder if this is gang related.
Right. No, this was not gang related. It was a couple young adults that decided to have a fight, and a knife got involved in it, and it ended up becoming tragic. And there was this was no way there was any other community members that were at risk or at harm. It was isolated between these kids, and just got out of control.
Arrest-wise, was it with a fairly quick arrest made?
Yes.
Easily. Not easily. It was a kind of well known. Investigation wasn't difficult.
It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't a terribly difficult investigation. Right away, we got information, and that's one of the things when cases are not gang related. They're generally easier because there's more people cooperating, and that's one of the things that we found here. Some of the people involved indirectly in the incident were cooperative, and then there was a lot of citizens that were being cooperative and telling us, hey, we saw this, we saw that, and quickly we got the area where we believe the suspect to be cordoned off and had a perimeter set up. We had K9 out there. We had a number of quite a few officers out there in the area. Within maybe about a half hour, we knew that the suspect was contained to a particular house, and had that house under surveillance, and shortly thereafter took the person into custody.
With not to harp on it, with 3 murders now in Elgin, where does that kind of rank compared to years past? I know there was one year, I think a couple years ago, that there was 0, right?
Well, I don't know that we've had 0
okay.
in since I can remember. Okay. I don't know that we've had a 0 year. Hopefully that'll be coming. We'd love 2015 would be our goal for a 0 year. And there was one of the other 3 this year was another situation where there was a battery type incident that occurred, and somebody was had suffered some head injuries, and didn't necessarily pass away right away. It was kind of a long drawn out, and later it kind of became a murder when the person's condition deteriorated.
I recall that one. Not all specifics, but I remember there was kind of some question about pre-existing conditions and other things as well.
Exactly,
too,
right. And in that situation, that was one of the situations where initially the injuries weren't even thought to be life-threatening by people involved, medical personnel, etc., and later became life-threatening. So,
moving on from that, interesting. I know it kind of created a bit of a fervor on some social media with the police testing that was going on.
Yes.
Where you guys had to go to Puerto Rico to go find qualified candidates, is how some people kind of looked at it, like, well, why do you have to go there? Why are you focusing attention? Can you maybe talk a little bit about the whole testing process? Because it wasn't just Puerto Rico that you guys went to. It just, that was what made the headlines and, kind of all the news. But you went to different colleges, different universities.
Absolutely.
You targeted, I think, specifically some female candidates at this particular school. Right, not targeted, but kind of went to a certain place that was more prevalent. So maybe a little talk about that.
And exactly, one of the things that that became the headline out of everything that we were doing, that became center stage, and it is something unique and something different, and not something that very many police departments are doing. Now, there's a lot of other organizations that are doing that. U46 has been recruiting from Puerto Rico for years, quite successfully, and so it's outside of the police world, it's not something that's really unique. But it was unique for us, and something different that we tried, and it's not something that we're committed that we're going to do every year. We wanted to see how it worked, and the jury's still out. We tested. The group that went down there tested 138 candidates that actually took the test there. Of those 138, 46 passed the test. And then as we went through the testing process here, more people took the test, and we narrowed it down to our top 60 candidates. With ties, it ended up being the top 64 because there was 4 people that tied at number 60.
Gotcha. Okay.
So the top 64 candidates, three of those candidates remained from Puerto Rico. So there's right now 3 very viable candidates from there, and we also have a few other candidates from out of state that are also still in the process, part of the 64.
And I know it doesn't necessarily have, because the list stays in effect for a number of years, I believe, right? Isn't it 3 or 4 years that the list stays active for?
Yes.
But how many positions right now does Elgin have available that you're looking to fill?
Well, right now, as soon as this list is complete, we'll be hiring 7 people.
Wow.
7 people right off the bat. So our goal is to have people hired for the academy that starts in January. And so we're going through the testing process. Actually, Commander Lalley's division is responsible for doing all the background investigations on these candidates, that's what's happening right now.
Oh boy, I don't want to dig in my pants.
Yeah.
No, not mine. I just you gotta find everything.
Right. We met with the Police and Fire Commission last night. We started scheduling the dates for the interview, so we'll be notifying the candidates when those dates are coming up. So they'll be going for interviews there. And we of the pool that we have, just initially and seeing people's just general background and things like that, looks like we have some excellent candidates. We have some, former police officers. We have some people with some real good, significant military background, and some other people with some great, we have some candidates that have social services, a background, and so a lot of unique, diversified type experience in our candidates.
And you said, trying something different, and I know that's kind of what has been publicly recognized as kind of setting Elgin apart in some ways, in many cases.
Right.
And I know recently, Commander Lalley, you were down receiving an award with Chief Swoboda. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, on Monday, I was down in Florida, in Orlando.
It's kind of rough life there.
Believe it or not, I actually don't like Florida.
Okay.
So, the International Association Chiefs of Police, it was for the Thompson Reuters Award for Excellence in Criminal Investigations. And so we put in our award application it was probably around April or May of this year. And we were told around July that we were a finalist. And there were about 120-something applicants throughout the United States and throughout the country, actually. And we ended up actually winning first runner-up, which is second place. It's a nice way of saying second place. But it was actually really nice. So on Monday we had a breakfast. We met the other award winners, and we accepted the award. And we won the award on behalf of our reduction in burglaries to motor vehicles from 2012 to 2013, and just some of the innovative techniques that we utilize, partnering with the community, some education, awareness. If you like it, lock it. Our career offender program, our security through surveillance, and so it was just even from patrol strategies using Predpol, which I think Bill's talked about several times in the show. So it's a nice award because it's about the whole police department. It's not just one certain division or one certain person. So it was an honor to win it. And actually, I don't think we actually realized what a big deal it was until we sat in the room and. Last year NYPD won it, so it was kind of nice. It was really good.
Kind of sitting there and just got nothing on this. Is it a lot of smack talking?
No, actually it was. They get you in at 7:30 and you're out at 8:30. It's a nice schedule,
wow.
So I can appreciate timeliness and get in, get your award, and get out. But it was really great, and I think that the best thing about it is just that the award is about the whole police department, and also how we partnered with the community, and how just educating and awareness, even something like if you like it, lock it. It's just such a simple thing that people don't really think about, but in the end it turned out to be extremely effective. So it's a great thing, so we were really happy.
With some of the different awards, and I know you said, you kind of self-submitted for this. In the long run, what does having some of the other awards, other than kind of a feel-good, what does it do for the police department? How do you utilize these awards and these recognitions? Is it from a recruiting standpoint? Is it for budgetary needs? Is it for grants? I mean, all of that and none of it?
I think that's part of it. I think, one, it's the recognition that the police department receives, and it honors the good work that everyone does. It also, I think, is great for the city of Elgin itself, because it recognizes that our community is engaged. And I think for recruiting, it does a lot to say, hey, here's this police department that we're always looking to do bigger things, bigger and better things. I mean, for us, I'm already thinking about next year. What could we do this year, or what are the things that we've done so far this year that we could submit another application? Because to me, second runner-up, I mean, it's nice, but I like first place. I just think that it's a great motivator to always look for a lot of new things, and keeping fresh, and never just staying kind of just in the middle and just carrying on. I think we always have to just be looking, hey, what else can we do? How can we improve on this? How else can we get the community engaged? So I think it's all those things that you mentioned.
Speaking of the, first place.
Yes.
It made me think, I saw a press release the other day that a few of your officers are going to be taking part in the, it's a fundraiser, and you'll have to refresh my memory.
Yeah.
But with the boxing, where you took on, I think it was Aurora last year, mostly,
Yes.
right? I mean, there were other departments involved as well, but this year it looks like you're taking on a lot of the Elgin Fire Department.
Yeah, it's the National Police Officer Latino Association, and this year they're doing kind of like a police versus fire. So last year it was the chief versus the chief, and then it was me versus another commander in Aurora. So this year we have Lieutenant Al Young boxing. I think he's boxing in Elgin Fireman. We have Officer Echeverria, who's I think boxing in Elgin Fireman, and then we have Detective Heather Robinson and Officer Miriam Uribe, and I think they're boxing other female officers from other departments. One's from Aurora. So I'm extremely confident that all four are going to win.
Last year you won,
Of course.
Last year Chiefs from Aurora won.
Of course, we have to represent
Right.
Elgin. I think they're going to win. I'm excited to actually be there and not be just
taking blows to the face.
Exactly, just enjoy it and support the officers, because I know it's not easy. A lot of people you don't realize how hard it is until you really get in there, and then you think, oh, what's the big deal? We're just going to kind of take it easy, and then you get punched in the face, and then you realize, no, actually, it's not going to be that easy.
So last year, I know you trained for, you said about a month. Can you let out any secrets about this year?
I know that the officers have been training extremely hard, and I think that they were given a little bit more time, which is actually beneficial. But I think this year is going to be a little different, because I think everybody's going to have that little bit more of a competitive edge, and so I think
last year was just kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Doing it. Now this year they want to kind of better last year.
Yes, and they want to win, and I think they realized last year too, when people were actually hitting each other and fighting, that they thought, wow, this is really a boxing match.
Right.
Yeah, so I think I'm excited for all four of them. I think they're going to do great. I'm going to be there supporting them, cheering them on, and not getting punched in the face. So
best part right there, right?
That's the best part. Yes.
You are going to be doing something this Saturday, though.
Yes, I am going to be at.
Evidently.
Yes, I'm going to be at Sam's Club. It's for the Extra Mile Day, and I'm going to be there with Chief Fahey of the fire department. And my understanding is that I'm going to be cooking hamburgers and hot dogs, but then I've been told I might also have to cook something, which I don't know how that's going to work out, because I don't cook, but I'll figure it out. So for tomorrow, it's I think it starts even a little bit earlier than 11:30, so come on out, stop by. Elgin CERT will be there along with the fire corps.
I think there's a booth set up from 10 to 3,
Yeah.
and then the cook-off's at 11:30.
Yes.
So.
And then there's going to be some,
Bat.
fire trucks out there. We're going to have our BAT armored vehicle out there. So cool things for kids to
Our
see.
canine will also be out there as well.
Nightmare on Chicago Street went off without a hitch, right? Everything good there?
Yeah.
Huge turnout, I hear. I mean,
gigantic turnout. It was.
Derek was telling us that he was talking to people at the WRMN booth that were coming from all over, other towns, cities, states.
All the ridges.
All the ridges.
Park Ridge.
He was going on. He's like, yeah. So I was talking with one guy from Park Ridge, and then he named another ridge. I'm like, so all the ridges.
Yeah.
There were ridges, and I know there was a lot of forest. There was Oak Forest, and Park Forest, and Forest.
And
Forest Hills, Forest Park,
Lake Forest.
If there was a Forest Ridge, which there might be, that'd be all over.
They were all over.
Yes, there you go.
So that's great to hear. Tonight, trick or treating.
Yes.
What are the hours for Elgin?
4 to 7.
4 to 7. Okay.
Yes, 4 to 7. And the weather, as I came in here, was not
snow.
too good. Yeah. So, but 4 to 7. So just be careful. Have make sure the parents are with the kids and be safe. Have a flashlight. Make sure kids aren't tripping over their costumes.
I think we're looking to mid to high 30s by this evening, and wind gusts of up to 45 miles an hour. So
wow.
Yeah. Have fun out there tonight.
Right.
Yeah. I hope your costume is big and warm and
it's just one of those times of year that we always again like Anna said, is that safety has got to be paramount, and it's a lot of this comes down to parents making sure that you're cognizant about where your kids are going trick or treating, making sure that you try to stay in areas where and check candy, make sure that there's nothing.
Although there was never anything found about that whole when I was a kid with the razor blades and the
nails. Right.
Nothing ever. I mean, I think that just became like it was an urban legend that just kind of grew.
Sure.
I don't think that ever was the case.
Right.
But
it may not be.
I know some hospitals still will X-ray the candy for you if you want and stuff like that. I don't know about Elgin, and I don't expect that you guys necessarily know, but I think for citizens in the community, slow down.
Yep.
Pay more attention. Put your phone down. Don't pay any attention to that.
Exactly,
you shouldn't ever, but
lights on
maybe.
Lights on with it getting dark earlier now. And
4 o'clock it could already be dark, especially with the weather we're expecting. It looks like a lot of clouds. So
absolutely.
So be careful with that. I know Chief Svoboda, we were talking last week about some sex offenders and different things like that as well. And these houses absolutely cannot accept any children for trick-or-treating. They should not have their lights on. They should not be inviting for that. So
one thing that we do is that our units that are responsible for monitoring sex offenders, they went out and they hung red hangers on all the doors of sex offenders' houses, and as part of our registration process. And then also, if people want to go on, you can either go to the state police website, or if you go to our website, you can go to crimereports.com and see a map that has where all the sex offender locations are.
Interesting. Anything else you guys wanted to bring up that we may have missed out on?
No, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to anything tonight? Any parties this weekend or anything?
No, not the Lalleys. We just hand out the candy.
I will be out there with my children, and I will probably be going to the Lalley's house.
Are you going to go
expecting some candy?
Yes.
Are you going to go as a police officer?
That's always what I want to do because it's the easiest costume.
Right.
But
throw on your dress uniform or something.
Right. My wife won't allow that.
You come home as the other person. She's like, get out of those.
Right. Put a real costume on.
Put on some jeans or something. I don't want to see it anymore. All right. Thanks for coming in, guys. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
You're listening to AM 1410, WRMN.
And Elgin.